Greetings. Welcome to the Inspirational Talk podcast with your creator and your host, Timothy Robinson. Hope all is well. I hope you've been having a very safe and productive week. All right, let's recap. Recap on the last episode, we talked about jealousy. Jealousy was the topic on last week episode, and a young man reached out to me. He told me that he listened to the last week episode about jealousy, and he stated that we had touched on some strong points on jealousy, and he was able to use them in his current relationship, and he was able to spark some positive dialogue with jealousy. And people that's on this platform, that's what it's all about: being able to use the nuggets and being able to apply them into your daily lives. Okay. So I thank you for the young man reaching out to me. All right. Your donations are greatly needed for the movement, and we still have this vision uh, uh, of the platform and in the direction that we want it to go. And we also get the material out. We still get the material out for the different ad spots that we're going to have on the show too as well. So your donations are greatly needed. Please reach out to me. Please reach out to me on the donations, and the my contact information is going to be at the bottom ticket and toward the end of the episode too as well. Your calls and your emails and your texts. For the people that's continued to do that, thank you. And like the last week episode on jealousy, the platform wanted to hear that. And this week's topic, the viewers want to, they want me to be able to expound on that too as well. So thank you, and please keep them coming. Please keep the calls, the emails, and the texts coming. Please keep them coming. Okay? Let me go with my new number right before we get started. My new number is 1 601 460 0181. Again, 1 601 460 0181. Okay? All right. And my new email address is inspirationaltalkwtr@gmail.com. Inspirationaltalkwtr@gmail.com. All right. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. This week's topic that we're going to talk about is control. This week's topic that we're going to speak about today and for the week is control. Notice what we're doing. We, like I stated in the previous episode, we are laying the foundation of this platform, and we're touching on different topics. So we are seeing the topics take shape, and we are seeing our personalities in these different topics take shape. In the future, we're going to touch on things like trauma, once again, domestic violence, power and control. It's a form of the domestic violence. And so things of that nature, like pain, suffering, and things of that nature that we're going to touch on this platform. So um, please stay in tune. Stay tuned, and like, subscribe, and share. Please like, subscribe, and share. Okay, control. To have the power to influence or direct people's behavior. Control. To have the power to influence or direct people's behavior. Okay. Manipulation. To control or influence a person or a situation. To control or influence a person or a situation. Uh, when I think about this, uh, this definition of manipulation, because manipulation and control, they like go hand in hand. When I think about this, I also think about today's generation. And today's generation is really different from the way I was raised, right? Um, Today's generation, they have no problem with asking an adult why. And, you know, it's a good thing because you can catch forms of manipulation and you can catch forms of control in situations like this. And so the you know the younger generation is really not going, because if something don't make sense to them, or if something feels that if they feel like they need to be questioned, they're gonna ask why. And the way I was raised, the way I was raised, uh, if my grandparents or if my mother gave me uh, a directive, if they gave me a directive, I couldn't ask why. I just need to be found doing whatever they told me that I need to do. And so it's a big difference in the way that I was raised and the way that the generation now is raised. And one of the good things, and now I could not, I did not care for it at first when they asked why, because the way I was raised started coming out of me. Don't ask me why. Ask God why. I'm just telling you a directive. But the younger generation, they just want to be able to understand that. Understand the yin to the yang. Why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, why do you feel like that? And we can look at it, like I said, as a form of rebellion, or or getting back, or talking back, or But you have to be able to grow and adjust in your parenting, and you have to be able to grow and adjust as an adult. I can remember my grandfather telling me, "Hey, don't ask me why, ask God why. I told you to do it." And so, my grandparents back in the day, they used to look at that as a form of disrespect. Why? What you mean? Why? Like, my director wasn't good enough for you? So it's just amazing how times have changed as people have changed. But I really don't go far from the way that I was raised. So I try to add to it. I try to add to it. And so if a young person asks me why, uh, and I feel that it's some sincerity with it, I will explain it why. But then, I would other than that, I keep on moving on. When you think about the manipulation to control or influence a person or a situation, you also think about gaslighting. Gaslighting is a new, well, to me, is a new term that they've been using, and the gaslighting is simply psychological manipulation. Excuse me, psychological manipulation. So we have to be careful of the way we move, and we have to be careful of the people who we move around because, you know, quite a few times these things come up in our life. We have friends that we thought that was really close to us, or we have situations, or maybe something at the job, and people can control you in subtle ways. They can smile in your face. They can be your best friend, or they can be somebody who you admire. You know, so we have to be careful of that. We have to be careful of the gaslighting and the manipulation. All of it goes up under the umbrella of control. Signs of being controlled: demanding. And at times, people could be jealous of you. You know, they could be jealous of you. And in relationships, you would get the controlling thing, and one word comes to that. One sign pops up in my mind is isolation. In relationship, people tend to isolate their mate. For whatever reason. Well, one of the reasons is because that they want to control them, and that's not good. If you find out that hey, a light bulb come on in your head, you be like, no, no, I don't want to do. It's all right to speak up, but it's all right to speak up with respect, and it's all right to have have meaning when you come with your points. I feel like I feel like XYZ. No, I don't want to do that. It's okay with saying no. I'm not buying into that concept or whatever that may be. It's okay. And if you are in a relationship and you feel that you have to visit this control thing often, you may need to revisit your relationship because who want to be under the thumb of somebody who's trying to control them? You're not a robot. You're a human being. And criticizing you. You know, when I used to work in Memphis as a counselor, and I taught domestic violence classes, and you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that that makes criticizing one another. You know, they trying to validate a reason, or they trying to give themselves a reason. Excuse me, they're trying to give themselves a reason to control you, or they trying to manipulate or gaslight a situation. Okay. A controlling person is a person who tries to make others do things the way they want to, excuse me, even if other people prefer to do it a different way. Let me say that again. A controlling person is a person who tries to make others do things the way they want to. You know, we're not robots in this world, people. We're not robots. If God won't violate our will, I mean, what can another human being do? You know, so be careful. And you have to know the company that you keep. I can remember my grandmother saying that. You have to know the company that you keep. Because if people will people will show you their personality, all you have to do is sit back and listen. Like I said in the previous episode, what's in here and what's in here is going to come out of what? Here. Excuse me. A controlling person is the person who tries to make others do the things the way they want to, even if other people prefer to do it a different way. I also think about this statement in in working. You know, when you be up under your boss and you try to execute your execute the company's vision, or you're trying to execute your boss's vision, and at times it goes successfully, and at times it don't. And so, with that being said, I can remember a time when my director at the time, excuse me, my director at the time, my director at the time, he came and he was on his way out. See, hold on. He was on his way out, and he made the statement. He said, "Listen," he said, "Listen, if I did or anything, now, excuse me, if I did or said anything wrong to offend anybody, I want to be the first to apologize. Because being in leadership taught me more about myself than working with y'all." And I can tell during a particular time that quite a few people really didn't get that. And the reason why I say it is because in being in leadership, leadership teaches you more about your personality. You know, you have some supervisors they controlling. You have some supervisors they what like crack the whip type of supervisors. And you have those supervisors that you will go to war with. You will go to, you will go to bat for because they know how to lead. Because being in leadership is actually being the ultimate servant for their business or for their situation or for that little group that you lead in. And a leader leads from behind. A leader motivates. A leader serves his people. But quite a few people don't get that. Quite a few people don't get that because you have those supervisors or those bosses. They controlling or they try to manipulate different situations and uh, they dealing with a lot on the inside of themselves. You know, and so be careful of that. And when it comes up, when you have people have personalities like that, when it comes up, make sure you say, "Oh, okay, okay, I see that," and that bald head man talked about that on the podcast. Mr. Potato Head talked about that before on the podcast, and so yeah, I know where this is coming from. So you have different types of people, and we all going through our walks of life, and we all are students of this thing called life, right? And so the people that you run into on a daily basis, they're not perfect because you're not perfect. And quite a few times you have to be patient with people and you have to be patient with the situation. I know I have to, that's one thing that I have to work on all the time is patience, right? So, yeah. So be careful of a controlling person that always trying to manipulate a gaslight situation to make you do things that you don't care to do because you're not the type of person that can speak up for yourself in a respectful manner and say, or pull somebody to the side if it's a boss or if it's a colleague that you're feeling, you know, uneasy about. Hey, why didn't you ask me to do X, Y, Z? Because I feel like that we didn't need to do that at the time. We need to accomplish this. And if they true about their vision that they're trying to push forward, they can explain it to you. What if they not? You know different now. Okay? Controlling behavior is trying to exert dominance or trying to remain in charge of decision making. It's trying to exert that dominance. Notice people, people that deal with this controlling behavior, you notice at times uh, when they speaking of a situation that they're trying to get you to buy into, they're trying to exert their dominance, you know, and they always, number one, I feel like that they don't think enough of you to be in on the decision making part. So they're gonna make the decision for you. See, to me, that's a form of disrespect. Because if you don't think enough of me to make a decision, what are we doing? What do we really have? What do we really have? So you the general and I'm just a soldier. Come on. No. Mm-mm. This ain't that. Especially in relationships. No, 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 no. We work together as a team. We work as one. We work together as a team. And let me go back to this. And your friends. If y'all want to achieve a task together and y'all put y'all heads together, yeah, let the decision making be all, go all the way around. Not just you doing it. When you deal with people like that has these controlling behaviors, uh, they don't care for They really don't want you to go outside of their expectations of you. And you know how I feel about that word expectation. They already got you in a box, right? And once you start trying to go outside the expectations of what they see, it's a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother ball game. So be careful of that. Overall, this is a sign of disrespect. If you think that I can't make decisions for myself, or you think that my voice is not strong enough, or I'm not being heard, or I mean, however it may be, you think of me a certain way, and that's what we need to talk about. That's what we need to talk about. Because if you think of me that way, whatever we doing, we don't need to be doing it. Because you don't look at me, excuse me, because you don't look at me as your equal. In some way, you look at me beneath you, and that's not respectful. You have to train your mind to be tougher than your emotions. I promise it will take you so much further in life. You have to train your mind to be tougher than your emotions. Train your mind to be tougher than your emotions. And it will take you so much further in life because then they will look, or then, you can look at yourself or look back on yourself and say, you know what? I'm glad I didn't make these decisions. I see, I used to see people do it every day. As soon as something don't go their way at work, as soon as they feel like that they can think about a pattern that the way that they've been treated the last month or two or whatever, oh, they want to put in their notice, right? They want to put in their notice. They want to give it up that quick. You have to train your mind to be tougher than your emotions. Because see, your emotions is like a roller coaster. They go up, down, up, and down. You know how many times I thought about today, whatever I thought about, that wasn't right? I remember I remember one time I was listening to a sermon, T.D. Jakes. Yeah, I think it was T.D. Jakes' sermon that he was speaking about and speaking on or whatever. And he said, y'all think that I'm a profound speaker. Y'all think that yes, God bless me with all these auditory skills and, these big words and all of that. He said, but I tell you what, if you put some, if you put some jumper cables up to my mind and whatever I think come across that screen back there, everybody run out this room. Everybody will, excuse me, everybody will run out of this room. So you have to train your mind to be tougher than your emotions. You have to. It will take you so much further in life. Trauma will cause you setbacks in your life if not dealt with them the right way. Trauma will cause you setbacks in your life if not dealt with the right way. We all go through some shape, form, or fashion of trauma. Even the even the people that are controlling, because it's pretty much a cause and effect to everything that we do, and it's a reason why they like that. They want to see. I mean, they got this thing in their head. They got this vision of how things should be, and it should be their way or no other way. It's a reason why. It's a cause and effect to everything that we do, people. And a lot of the time, the cause and effects is linked back to some form of trauma somewhere. their mother may have saw the kids may saw their mother physically abused or verbally abused the dad, or the dad may have saw, or the kids may have saw their dad verbally abused or physically abused their mother. So when they get into a relationship, they see this relationship being a certain way, or they would like for it to be a certain way, consciously and unconsciously. They would like for it to be a certain way because they don't want to experience what they think they saw growing up. But quite a few times, they end up being just like them. Quite a few times, they end up being just like the mother, or they end up being just like the father, and end up doing things, if not identical, almost somewhat similar, just like they said, just like that they saw their parents do, or whatever guardian that raised them, and maybe an uncle or aunt or something like that. But yes, but if you don't uh, deal with this trauma, and we're going to talk about trauma on this platform, we're going to break it down and we're going to go into it because if dealt with the right way, you can use trauma to be able to push you in the future, spring you in the future positive. Because we all can sit up here on this platform and talk about different things that went on in our life that we don't feel good about, that we saw or that was done to us or whatever. But after that, we have a choice of whether we going to move forward, build on it, heal, and say, I am not going to be imprisoned by this situation, or we unconsciously or consciously sit back in shame and can't rebound from the trauma that was dealt to us. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about trauma. And really, I cannot wait to go into trauma. Notice it on this platform, it's a lot of serious topics that we're going to hit on down in the episodes. Because like I said, we building the foundation for this show. And we getting the viewers to come in to be able to listen and to be able to look at the picture that we painted. And once it starts rotating out there in the social media world, what do they call it? Once they start going into the I think it's algorithms, or whatever that word. Once it starts flowing constantly out there, then it starts building, and people start to understand what the overall, I cannot pronounce that word for algorithm, whatever. And once people start to understand and they start to see and know how this platform is being painted and built, then they can, they can buy into the fact, and they can be able to hit like, subscribe, and share because they see the platform unfolding the way they should. I was trying to say a cute word, but once it's in rotation and once quite a few people hit like, subscribe, and share, yes, and then the more and more, people do it, the better that it is, and the platform will grow. I was trying to use a cute word that I heard a couple months ago, but yeah, my vocabulary ain't that strong right there, as you can see. Okay, moving right along. Growing up, I've seen people that have lost control of their lives, and after that, they have been on the receiving end of life. You know, there's those your mates, friends, or whatever, growing up, they had it all together, and for whatever reason in their life, They lost control. You know, maybe it's come from, like I said, some trauma seen because that can stun your growth, or maybe some form of abuse, um, uh, maybe alcoholism, uh, maybe they turned into some form of addict. You know, but growing up, I have seen that they lost control of their lives, and after that, they just been on the reactive end of life. Just whatever life deals with them. Deals them. They just react to it. They have no fight to be um, strong. They have no fight to be. Um, they have no fight in them to be tenacious about life. They just like whatever. And you can see you say to yourself, oh, you ain't fighting no more. Huh? You just letting it happen to you. It's sad, to see people like that, uh, and quite a few people like that you love. It's sad to see that, but it happens. We all are delicate individuals. This is something that, in my 53 years of living, that I've understood. We all, as people, we have a lot of layers to us, and we all are delicate individuals. And once I found that out, you know, I started looking at life a lot different. I started, well, I never had any problem doing this, but I started trying to treat people like that I want, the way that I want to be treated, you know. So you never know what people going through, and you know, like I said in previous episodes, you never can, you never can criticize a man by where he's standing. So we all are delicate individuals, and we have to be careful when we go out through our daily lives and be cognizant of that. Okay. I was one time back in Memphis. I was working at this rehab center, and it was a rehab for teens, addicts, and alcoholism. And at this particular time, uh, I was sitting on the steps outside. I never forget this. I was sitting on the steps outside, and this teenage kid came to sit down. And he was fond of me, and I was fond of him. I wasn't fond of him at first, but then I started warming up to him. And so he took it upon himself during this particular time to try to, because we had several meetings, and he had told different stories here and there. So he took it upon himself to explain to me about him. And so, excuse me, I started listening. He was explaining about the ups and downs of him being a drug addict. Now he a teenager, you know, he's a kid, to be honest with you, a baby, and the things that he was exposed to at that time, it was really heartbreaking to really, just hear. And he went into the depths of it because after a period of time, he made a connection with me. Excuse me. After a period of time, he made a connection with me. And so, like I said, he felt the need to explain, the person that he was to me. And, I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that. And why I'm telling you this is at the end of it is a saying that he said was beautiful to me. I mean, it was all of that. It was power for me. It was after he told me several stories of him being out there in the streets, and I was blown back by the stories that he told me. And he said, "Now this is 14, 15 years old." He said, "Mr. Robinson, the truth is ugly once you get down to it." I said, "Yeah." He said, "The truth is ugly once you get down to it, but there's nothing more beautiful than the ugly truth." The truth is ugly once you get down to it, down to the bottom. But there's nothing more beautiful than the ugly truth. I thought that, well, it was powerful. And to hear that kids say that from the experience, just as he was 14, 15 years old, looking back over his life. And he said there was so much seasoned grace and, you know, the truth is ugly once you get down to it. But Mr. Robinson, ain't nothing more beautiful than the ugly truth. So we have these hang-ups in our personality. You know, the jealousy parts, the controlling personality, this and that. Or we have to be careful of people who have these type of personalities. And we got to know how to move around them. And we in life, and we here in society, we always want to label something. We want to label it and we want to judge it too. But you don't know what these people been through. You don't know which direction they going. But so happen, they so happen to run into you, whether on a job, in a relationship, or whether through a mutual friend and y'all became friends and it didn't work out for whatever reason. And y'all want to judge, y'all want to label. And that, I'm, I used to be guilty of it too until I learned, until I understood. Like I said, things on this platform, they had to convict me first. But to hear that kid say the truth is ugly once you get down to it, excuse me, the truth is ugly once you get down to it, but there's nothing more beautiful than the ugly truth. Come on, man. That's wisdom in its finest. The power to control your life is in your hands. Embrace it. You know, the scary thing about it is when you think that you have no control, you do have some control. Just by your mere existence, you being here in this world, you watching the way you speak to people, you carry yourself in a manner. Yes, embrace it. Now that's scary. It was scary for me. Embrace it. And the reason why I say that it was scary for me is this. Uh, I had a prayer about 10, maybe 15 years ago. I didn't. I felt it in my spirit, but I did not want to speak it because I was afraid of it. And the prayer was this: if I go forwards or backwards, I didn't want to say go backwards in life because who want to go back? You know, if I go forward or backwards in life, it doesn't matter. All I want to do is be in God's will because in His will, I have safe. I'm safe. I have understanding. I have direction. It it gives me the will to move forward. And the reason why I said that I didn't want to pray it is because I'm like, I don't want to go back. Who want to go back? But what I was simply saying, eventually, it came to understand. It came to my understanding what I was surrendering my will. I was surrendering that thinking. The difference between your thoughts and what you think. I was surrendering that to say, hey, as long as I'm in your will, I'm good. Because I don't want to force no doors open for me that the master got closed. You hear me when I say that? I don't want to force no doors open. That means, yeah, I really want the job. I really want the job. I really want the job. And they got somebody else slated for it, but then I call them and then I tell them a little bit extra so they can hire me. And now I got it. And now here it's been 6 months to a year, and I do not like the job at all. I force myself to be in it. The master knew the master knew the job was what it was. But you thought that you was a clear-cut candidate because of what you see. This life goes beyond what you see, people. It goes beyond that. And I had to understand it. Because a lot of things that I didn't see, I was afraid of. This life goes beyond what you see. And the quicker we understand that, the better we'll be as a people. This life that we live go beyond what we see. And so now I'm in a job that I don't even want to be in. But I prayed for it though. I ain't called but a hiring manager and told them that I was a good fit. And they said, okay, I was gonna go with Mr. Watermelon, but I go ahead and go with you. And now you 6 months to a year in the job, and you hate the job ever came in your life. See, God has something else planned for you. But you forced that door open for you that was meant to be closed. That's what I'm talking about. Whatever's for me is for me. I just want to be in his will. Whatever for me is for me. We all in life, we don't want to embrace setbacks. We don't want to embrace pain. We don't want to embrace trauma. We don't want to embrace nothing that say that negative that goes against our flesh. We don't want to embrace that. You want to know how I know? Because I didn't want to embrace it. I didn't. I did not want to embrace it. But in learning this thing, it takes the pain, it takes the setback, it takes the trauma, it takes the discomfort, it takes the uncomfortableness. Listen, if the sun shined all the time and it was 70-degree weather and it was beautiful all the time, it wouldn't be no good for us. Because in order to get to that sunshine and the beautiful weather, we got to have some storms come in. We got to have some rain come in order for that to happen. And so in learning that, people, I've learned to embrace life as a whole. Embrace it. Embrace it as a whole. I like the rainy days just as well as I like the sunshine. You like the rainy days too, especially if it's nighttime and you got to go to sleep. You rest as a little, and you rest much better. You like it. You just want what you want when you want it. But that's not life. You got to embrace all of it. That got me right there. Learn to embrace it. Learn to embrace it. Emotions is the juice of life. When out of control, it becomes madness. Have some discipline. Have some discipline. And now we're talking about now noticing later on in this episode, we're talking about if you have the control the right way over your, we're talking about the personal part of us and have control. Yeah, we talked about what people did to us or what people or the signs that we have saw in the past of how people may have wanted to treat us, gaslight us and stuff. But now it's getting more personable and it's getting toward us now later on. What consumes your mind controls your life. What consumes your mind controls your life. In closing, email upcoming topics. Email upcoming topics. We paint this picture, and we paint it like this for a reason. Email upcoming topics. Don't forget, you control this platform. You control this platform. Reach out to me. My information gonna be at the end of the episode, and just like I said it earlier, and I tell you again, my new number 1-601-460-0181. 1-601-460-0181. And my email is inspirationaltalkwtr@gmail.com. And always, it's been a joy talking to you. It's been a joy speaking with you. It's been a joy sharing life's experiences and the emails and the text that come through and just smile and y'all keep me working. But it's not work. It's a passion for me. It's my calling. You know, it's my calling, and I'm thankful. I'm a servant, and I'm honored to be able to do this. And email me your next week's topic, okay? And always remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Thank you.